Got so much words to say. I do. Welcome everybody to another segment of the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. I am your host, Kojo, checking in from sunny and super hot Los Angeles, California. We're going to be talking about heartbreak today and how it can affect you in many different ways. Heartbreak is something that, we all go through it in some shape or form, but this is something that can actually really impact your mental health. So we're going to talk about it and we're going to get into it. So, the way we like to start is I like to start by having an icebreaker. Let's introduce ourselves. Let me know where you all are checking in from, and then let's go ahead and get into it. Michelle says she can relate to heartbreak. Chris is saying right now, Chris, I'm sorry, my guy. I'm sorry. It's all good. Or it will be all good, hopefully. Austin from Michigan. What's up, Austin? How you doing? Donna, I appreciate you, Donna. Thank from YouTube, Donna, I appreciate you. I call it the breakup diet. Ooh, Allison Tannehill. It's tough, right? Mariah, I appreciate that. That's a big compliment. I don't take those words lightly. Thank you so much. Jason, appreciate you. Asger, I'm sorry that you're going through. I'm sorry that you're going through it. We got Michelle checking in from Corpus Christi, Texas. Let me see. See Jacksonville, North Carolina. Okay, so people all over Baltimore, Indianapolis, Kansas, Florida. All right, so people are checking in all over Atlanta, South Florida, Chicago. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Heartbreak. Let me see if I can get that video real quick. Thanks. Tell my assistant. Hey, John, can you do me a favor? Can you send me the Heartbreak May Look Like Part 1 and 2 video to WhatsApp? That way I can boost it because I'm going live right now. I want to show my audience the two videos just real quick, just for the live. All right, thank you so much. All right, so let me see what you all are talking about. Cindy says, my first divorce, I didn't want to eat. I went from a size 10 to a size 0. I've heard things like that before, and I've seen patients, lose weight, pick up weight over a relationship that did not go the way they wanted it to go. We've talked about how a bad breakup could even induce a manic episode, right? So, heartbreak is no joke. Heartbreak is no joke. No joke at all. Let me see. I just left my ex who was abusive and narcissistic. Sorry to hear that that was how the relationship was, and I'm happy that you progressed. It's Tasha from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm experiencing heartbreak as we speak, sadly. Tasha, very, very sorry to hear that. Like heartbreak is not a joke. Heartbreak is not a joke. I feel like I knew that before, I became a mental professional, but now for sure, I definitely know. Hey, Ashley, tighten up. You see, I like you already. Amber from Ohio, I'm in the process of this right now. Yeah, so let's talk about a heartbreak. You can feel, and let me see if I can find the article for you all. That was a great article. Like, heartbreak is not a joke at all. Let me see if I can find the article. I know y'all like the articles. Let me see. So this is from NPR. No, this is not the one that I wanted. No, let me find the one that I all right, so I want to talk about what heartbreak physically feels like what it feels like physically, right? So I'm looking here. Maria says, I lost a lot of weight. The most effective diet ever. I mean, like, I don't recommend that you all go through a heartbreak to lose weight, but this type of thing may happen. It definitely may happen, right? All right, so talking about what does heartbreak feel like physically? What does heartbreak feel like physically? I can't find the article, but all right, so heartbreak can manifest in the body in many different ways. I can't find an article, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it. You can have people who can even have chest pain, you can have upset stomach, you can have nausea, you can lose your appetite, your sleeping habits may be altered, right? You may be staying up too much, you may be staying in bed for too long, having a hard time sleeping, it definitely changes a lot, right? And when you talk about heartbreak, it's the thing that's confusing about heartbreak. I'll say this, and then I want to get into you all's comments, and I want to pull from the engagement that we're getting right now. The thing that's confusing about heartbreak is that, let's say, if I come to you all, right? Let's say I come to y'all and I'm like, hey, online community, man, I'm going through right now. I was talking to this girl, I thought she was the one, and like we broke up, and I'm really heartbroken, right? You all would be like, oh man, Kojo, shake back. I hope you feel better, right? But like the next day, you probably won't think about it. You'll be like, okay, like I hope he's doing better. I mean, he'll find another girl, right? The difference between heartbreak and something like depression is, let's say somebody's experiencing depression and you have a mental diagnosis. Oh, this person has depression. We give him antidepressants. Boom, boom, boom. That type of person, you might look at that person and say, that person has depression. I need to keep checking in on that person over and over because I know how frustrating depression can be. And yes, you should be doing that if you can. Check on our folks who are struggling with mental health conditions. But even though heartbreak is not like a technical diagnosis, it's something that can lead to depression. It's something that can lead to anxiety. It's something that can lead to frustration. I believe that, there's such a thing as relationship PTSD. You go through a bad relationship and sometimes you just stay out of them because you're like, all right, relationships are not for me. I just can't, they're just not for me, right? That trauma, like sometimes you collect trauma like infinity stones, and before you know it, you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm tired. I just want to be by myself, right? So heartbreak is not something that we should take lightly. And if you're going through heartbreak right now, you should give yourself space and give yourself grace. Like allow it to be okay to grieve the loss, right? Because you're grieving, not only another person or persons, right? You're grieving the loss of what you thought would happen, right? Like you planned out a life with them, you had all this stuff that you wanted to do, and it didn't happen that way. That can be extremely disappointing, right? So heartbreak is no joke. Heartbreak is no joke. Let's get into the comments. I lost 56 pounds in 6 weeks when I was younger. I was just devastated. Say sorry to hear that. Oh my goodness. Toxic relationships and abusive can leave you with PTSD. Yeah. Leisha, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, a lot of people, men, women, non-binary, however you identify, a lot of people have DM'd me saying that, relationships have really been the source of their trauma, So that's why it's important to talk about this. My heart broke when Steve McNair was Veronica. Oh, nobody has ever bought this before on a live before. But yeah, the day Steve McNair passed away was July 4th, 2009. I was heartbroken, not in the sense of the romantic context, but I was crushed. That's like hearing awful news you never want to hear. That was my hero growing up. Yeah, that was a rough day. That was a rough day. I have to be single for years after a long-term breakup. Jesse, so let's talk about what Jesse said right here. I have to be single for years after a long-term breakup. I'm posting a lot more about emotional availability and things like that. And I think after you go through a relationship, or a situation where a lot of feelings were involved, a lot of emotions were invested, right? After that situation or relationship is over, you may be exhausted, right? And as we know, it's probably not the best idea to try and date or get to know somebody when, your emotional availability is at like 6%, right? Because at 6%, we need to be looking for like a phone charger to charge our phones, So let me tell John. No, John, I'm talking about the actual file. If you send me the actual file, then I can like blast it to the computer, like the actual 2 files for those videos. Thank you so much. I didn't eat for 5 days. Ooh, Sasha, sorry to hear that. Let me get some comments. Leilani, what's going on? Is the moderator thing working? Oh, Savannah, sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. And guilt, regret, shame, those things sometimes, like if depression was like a dish, if depression was a 5-course meal, this is a weird example, but follow me here. If depression was a 5-course meal, it would come with things like regret, shame, guilt. All those things can make it really hard to just feel good about yourself, right? So, whatever progress you've made, give yourself credit for that, and celebrate the small wins. Like, it's very important. I just started celebrating my small wins, and I feel a lot better. 6 months post-divorce, and I still have trouble eating. Chelsea, sorry to hear that. Divorce is another thing we have to talk about. Divorce is a major, major life event. I was my ex 7.5 years. He broke up with me, and I went 2 weeks without eating. 17. Ooh, Tracy, sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing a little bit better now. Gretchen says, I will stop eating, couldn't be in my house. I feel like I was suffocating, almost catatonic, never slept, CPTSD and ADHD. Gretchen Walker, thank you for sharing. And yeah, like I've said, sometimes you lose your appetite. You're like, I don't feel like eating at all, right? You talking about CPTSD, and trauma that just kind of like picks up. And then, you said almost catatonic. For those people who don't understand that, sometimes, with low mood or with depression, we see catatonia and, like schizophrenia, for example. But sometimes you have this thing, what's a term that I think we call it, like psychomotor retardation, where like you're so slow. But yeah, sometimes just being depressed or being down, sometimes you just move slower, right? Like it's not like the Matrix, but like you're just like, it just takes you a while to like get everything done, right? And you're not sleeping. All these issues can come from a heartbreak. Done playing Randy said, felt like I was grieving. My heart felt like it was literally hurting. I ended up in ER. Yeah, heartbreak is a serious thing. Shay says lost 30 pounds. So for people who are watching, who are just now, like if you're watching this and you're like, whoa, I didn't know heartbreak was that serious. Like, it's quite serious. I'm not scaring y'all away from relationships. I'm just saying that should something not work out, like, please make sure that you take care of yourself and or somebody else, like if that's the person who's gone through the heartbreak. Facebook user, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your attention. I don't know your name, but thank you for your attention. Yeah, Tracy, you're right. Depression and anxiety doesn't help. We didn't even talk about that, right? So heartbreak could make it difficult for you to just like go about your day, and that may further complicate whatever mental health conditions you are already struggling with. Carrie, wow, very sorry to hear that. And I remember I had a patient of mine, I think he was in Arizona, and he had experienced significant grief, and my assistant was actually able to find like free support groups for people who had like gone through significant loss, and it was free. I think it was religious based, so I know sometimes that may or may not be your speed depending on who you are. But I do believe that there are free or low cost support groups when it comes to grief, and I think that's a great thing with grief. Carrie, sorry to see what you went through, but it's one thing to go through something traumatic by yourself, and it's another thing to go through that thing with the support of a lot of people. All right. I've been crying for a week. Today is the first day, no tears. He went back to a married woman. Whoa. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm a little lost here. But respect, Michelle. Very sorry to hear that. And it sucks because you can't control the other person. We can just control ourselves. One of my coping skills was piercings whenever I got my heart broken. Okay. Artavia, now I'm curious, would you say the piercings were a positive coping skill for you or a negative? Like for you, how do you think, that was for you? And heartbreak can be from losing a close. Oh yeah, Jennifer, I agree. So when I think the title is "Ever Got Your Heart Broke." I can't even see the full title here, but yeah, you can get heartbreak from losing a close friend, not just romantic relationships. I agree. And on top of that, you could even be heartbroken after like losing a friend, right? So for me, it might be weird, but sometimes I've lost friends, like not that they passed away, but things happen to where we went our separate ways, and sometimes losing a friend was more painful than like going through a breakup with somebody that I was dating, right? Because a friend that you've had for years and you expect them to be like at all your big life events like graduation, wedding, all these different great, grand events. And when that relationship ends, sometimes your head starts to spin. You're like, dang, like I didn't see that coming. Let me see what Artavia had said. Yes, it helped with the pain. I didn't go too crazy. There were piercings I was planning on getting for years. It just pushed me to do it. Okay, well, Artavia, I like that. So you're able to use the heartbreak to push you towards something that you wanted to do, and that's a good way of coping with it. And I think sometimes just doing something for yourself. Let's say you've been going through heartbreak, doing anything for yourself can be a good thing, right? Because if you've been in a relationship or in a friendship, or if you've been in a situation where you had that person or that entity and you no longer have them, you may have to rediscover who you are and what you actually enjoy doing, right? So it can be difficult, like the aftermath of the heartbreak. Watching some change. Oh yeah, that's tough. You see it happen like right in front of you. It's kind of like a slow car crash. Mickey Mac, I agree. I like that name. That's a cool name. I completely agree. I was in an off and on relationship and engaged for 10 years. It was toxic and abusive. The last straw was oof. Sorry to hear that. Stacey, I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing better. And anybody who's been through a similar situation, I'm very sorry to hear that. And like I will figure out a way to talk about abuse on both ends. I'll probably check in with the people on Facebook, make sure that I'm not violating like community guidelines or anything like that. Michelle says, I don't know how people can jump from serious relationships and marriages constantly. LOL. I say single for years because feelings this hurt scares me away from trying to love anyone. Yeah, it can be tough. It can be very difficult, Michelle. Mickey Picky. Yeah. And then Mickey, the real Mickey, says people often lose themselves in relationships and have to find them. Yeah. And sometimes when your world becomes so like entangled with somebody else's world, and it just comes like I think any breakup is gonna hurt. I completely agree with what Mickey's saying here. But I think there's a special type of pain that comes with a breakup that you didn't see coming, right? Like it's a random Sunday afternoon and you get a text and it's over. And you're like, all right, cool. All right. I have to wake up tomorrow, Monday, and then figure out like what to do, right? And can you get heartbroken slowly in a relationship, like when you feel yeah, maybe not this type of heartbreak, but it can break your heart in a sense, right? And a lot of times people will be in a relationship with somebody, but you may have even checked out. Like sometimes a relationship may end after 2 years, but maybe both or one of the partners may have checked out after like a year and a half, right? Mariah, good question right here. So here's the thing with my content. I want my content to be feel good content, encouraging, inspirational, motivational. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get into the habit of like lying to y'all to make things feel good. And sometimes after people leave an abusive situation, no, it doesn't get easier. Like I'm just being honest, right? It takes a lot of like self work, discovery, figuring out who you are, figuring out what your boundaries were or are, figuring out what you like and what you don't like, how you want to be respected. So it's a journey. Like you kind of like picking up the pieces and like constructing a new version of yourself, which could even be better than how you were before. But I think after like an abusive or traumatic situationship or relationship, I do think it can get pretty tough. I won't say pretty tough because it depends on the person, but it's not like super easy, And Luana, oh wow, very very sorry to hear that. And also heartbreak. I think for those of y'all who are watching, if you haven't noticed a pattern here, there's a pattern that with heartbreak and with grief, they kind of go hand in hand. Yes. Try to multitask here. Ryan says, Ryan, I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Must be talking about the ADHD videos. Yeah, ADHD is it's something else, right? 4 years ago, my boyfriend of 3 years broke up with me over text out of the blue. He was already. Oh wow, okay. Ooh. Let me slow down. He was already in another relationship, and she announced their pregnancy 2 months later. Wow. Okay. See, when things like this happen, first of all, Katie, sorry that this happened to you, number one, and then number two, I hope you're doing okay right now in 2022. And number three, give yourself credit for any progress that you've made. With that being said, when things like this happen out of the blue, it's like being hit, like it's like being blindsided, which is one of the worst feelings of all time. So I hope you've done your best to like take it easy on yourself, because like this is a blindside hit. This is like when I was playing football, and I remember playing football in high school, and then like you're just doing your thing, and I was nowhere. Somebody just comes in, hits you. Like I used to get hit so hard, I would use the restroom. I'm not kidding. I'm not lying to you. I'll use the restroom. Do my thing like a number two, and like I'd be shitting blood. I don't know how else to say it, but like I used to get hit hard during football. Like those blindside hits used to hurt, But it's funny, like between a blindside hit and physical pain, or emotional pain, I would take the physical pain before the emotional pain. That's how difficult these things can be, right? So Katie, give yourself credit for any progress that you've made. Liz said happened weeks ago and still really can't eat. Liz, any progress you make can be helpful. Pace yourself. Trenton says, man, why do I feel like you're speaking about my exact situation? Trenton, hey, heartbreak is tough. Heartbreak is tough. Keep going, my guy. Heartbreak is definitely one of the worst feelings possible. It literally feels like butterflies are dying inside of you, almost like a panic attack that never goes away. And you have to accept that pain, especially when you fall for someone so deeply. I agree, right? And we know here in this community, we have a lot of people here with ADHD. So let's add the heartbreak to, let's just play like scenario, right? Let's add heartbreak to somebody who has ADHD, who might be struggling with managing their mood, right? Or even the RSD, right? Rejection sensitive dysphoria, where you have a hard time, accepting criticism, where you feel like things are like a personal attack against you. When you come from that world, heartbreak can feel like they're cussing you out on Times Square in front of everybody. Like you feel embarrassed. You see, heartbreak and grief are related. We get our hearts broke when the things we had planned or expect to fall apart. Then we agree with, yeah. Ooh, I gotta give Mickey a love of the show. The way this is written is so like neat. The way I was written was so neat. I really, really like that. I really like that. Even if you're not eating. Oh, Tiffany, I like this. If you're having a hard time eating, because of heartbreak, like fluids is very important. Like that's why we do the water break, which we'll do a little bit later on. But staying hydrated, like it would be good to eat. But if you're having a hard time, eating, like whatever you can eat, small bits and pieces, drink some water. If you can, a protein shake. What's the other? My grandma drinks Glucerna, but not Glucerna. There's another version that is not like specifically for like diabetics, but it's not coming to mind right now. Josh, hey man, thanks for everything you do. My ex-fiance left a few weeks after getting an abortion. Haven't been the same since. Josh, very, very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that, especially when like somebody you were engaged to and you're gonna start a like life with. Very sorry to hear that. Like now, knowing what I know about heartbreak through professional experience and even like my own personal experience, I don't take it lightly at all. Someone broke my heart worse than anyone before, but I forgave, but not forgotten. And we're still married 30 years. Okay, so Rachel, this is a bit of a new twist. You could be heartbroken by somebody and still get back with them, and if you choose to get back with somebody after a heartbreak or betrayal or cheating, I'm just making things up right now. Whatever the case is, I stand by your decision. Thank you for sharing that perspective. I like that. Jennifer says, we must learn to treat ourselves like we were our best friend. Be kind, loving, and gentle to ourselves. It's okay to rest. Another love of the show right there. Another love of the show. Like, it's so important to treat yourself like you would your best friend. And it's important. I want to stay on that for a second, right? So treat yourself like you're talking to your best friend, right? Like if your best friend is like right here, there's certain things that you won't like. You don't talk to them like, oh, you're so dumb, you're so stupid, right? So why do we tell ourselves that, or why do we minimize our own pain? Like, oh, hey, let me get my, myself together. Like I should be over the situation. No, like we have to treat ourselves like our best friend, so that way we can make sure that we're being kind to ourselves, right? And I remember I had a conversation with a friend. It was kind of weird, but I remember telling her that if I did something, it would be like I'm betraying myself. And she was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, you think what you want to think. But in my head, I'm like, hey, I can't do things that's going to betray who I am. Right. So it's Ensure. Yeah. Emily, thank you. Ensure. Ensure. Yeah. Latina, I appreciate y'all. I just couldn't get it. It was at the tip of my tongue. But yeah, treat yourself like a friend, like whatever time you need. Try your best to not betray yourself, right? And when you look at it from that perspective, then at least you think twice about like, do I really want to do this? Like, how do I feel about this thing? Yeah, breakups are traumatic. Don't invalidate your trauma. Yeah, breakups can be very traumatic. Yeah, for sure. Gunslinger, I recently broke up with my fiance, longtime partner for 11 years. It really hurts, and I don't see myself getting better anytime soon. So, Gunslinger, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the fact that you're in pain, right? And you might be right. I'm not gonna lie to you. It may not get better anytime soon, but keep in mind, better is subjective, right? So what is better? If you get like 1% better, this week, that's a W. If you get 1% better next week, it's a W, right? So in the span of 2 weeks, you got 2% better. You might not see that, right? But over time, like I think that the wins do, like they tally up. Ben, after making my changes with my meds and after going through an intense DBT program, I'm a fan of DBT. I'm finding myself sharing what I've learned with others because I remember what it felt like to always feel down, to always feel heartbroken. Ben, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. And Austin says, I would take physical pain over mental pain, 10 out of 10. I said from anxiety and ADHD, so my mind is racing 24/7. I also have an issue with insomnia. It's a cocktail disaster. Austin, so I know we can't choose between physical or emotional mental pain, but I said it before in the live. I'll say it again. I would most definitely take physical pain over mental pain. I'll go right back. I'll put the pads on. And that when I played football, I was much lighter. I was like, I'm same height, 6'3", 6'2". But I was like, I'm like maybe 205 now, 210. But I was like 140 pounds in. Like my body should not have been taking those hits. But I'd rather take that hit from a big linebacker than to take like emotional and mental pain. Like that stuff can sometimes stay for years. Savannah says you do, and you have so much value. The right person will see that and use it. Right. And that's the thing about just people and friendships and relationships. It's one thing to try and convince somebody to be with you, and it's another thing to be with somebody who already gets it, right? And the worst part about this is that until you're with somebody who gets it, you think that you're asking for too much. But you get with somebody who gets it, and you're like, damn, I was making it too hard for myself back in the day, So I'm a big fan of not convincing people. Don't convince people about anything. There should be nothing to convince anybody about. Like, you are who you are. Of course, we should be working on ourselves, but there should be no need to convince anybody of anything. Like, if you don't like the person I am, then I'm gonna go, where I'm appreciated. I'm sorry to say this, Neil, we're post funny. Oh, wait, these live sessions. Mickey, I appreciate you, and these live sessions are also helpful for me as well. Like the feedback I get, and like it also reminds me, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being as well, right? And I don't want people to think that like I'm doing these lives and I'm somebody that I'm here and y'all are here and I'm talking to y'all like y'all should do this. No, like I'm talking to like myself. Like I need to, like I'm talking to myself, when I'm talking to y'all. Because if I don't remind myself of this, or if I don't like practice these things, I'm gonna start like slipping back and you know, forgetting my boundaries. Like, it's an active thing that we have to practice. Breakups are. Hey, what's good, bro? Okay, all right. I'm coming to scoop you up real quick. All right, all right. Hey, this squad's coming over, so they're coming through. Give me 1 second. Let my friends in because it's too hot in California. I can't let them stay outside. 1 second, y'all. So. I do. Mickey Ficky. Hey, my people waited for me. What's up? What's up? Yeah, it's so hot out. So hot. Love the show for Gabrielle Smith for still being here despite her brain tumor diagnosis in 2020, all while having to juggle her husband's, her daughters, and her own sobriety. Yeah. Love the show, Gabrielle. Thanks for catching that. And yeah, it's hot AF. Oh my gosh, it's super hot. Let me see. Try to find that video for y'all. Let me see if I can download this video for y'all. I want to show y'all 2 videos real quick about heartbreak before we end the live. Let me see. Download this one. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at this. Things you may experience after heartbreak. And I'm not sure if these videos have even been posted to Facebook, but I want to go show y'all regardless. So let me get these videos pulled up. When's the app coming out? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the app, and then you can drop the magic word in the chat. Somebody can drop the magic word in the chat. And Lisa, I caught your comment. Very, very sorry to hear about that. You know, take the time that you need, and like, that's devastating news. You know, I'll definitely be praying for you, and you know, I'm rooting for you. We're with you collectively as a community. And the app Groupthink should. Oh, this is September. Oh, the app should be coming out this month. We've been working hard to make sure that it'll be there for you all on iOS and on Android. You know, so that app will be coming out for y'all soon. And all right, so download this one, and let me download the second one for y'all and boot those up on the screen. All right. Hey, so we got the magic word in there. Cheers, y'all. Time to get that water break in. An app. The app that I think that referring to is an app that my friends and I are releasing this month. It's called Groupthink. It's going to be an accountability app that I'm using it for my ADHD community to help us, right? You know, me too, as somebody with ADHD. And all on the app, I'm going to create a group where we wake up in the morning, we go for a walk, and we eat breakfast. And that's all that we have to do. And you all can create your own groups in there, and I can join it. But it's going to be super exciting. And me 1586, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to click it off so fast. I appreciate you. You know, and none of this, all that we're doing, would be possible without this whole community. Let me see if I can get this video for y'all. Heartbreak. Let me see how this works. 1 second. Downloads. I gotta get better with this. All right, so my AirDrop is not working for whatever reason. Screw it. All right, let's talk about groupthink real quick. Let me put the link in there. But I will say this about iPhones. Apparently, there's a new iPhone coming out, and all my friends, everybody that I know, everybody's iPhones are messing up because there's a new iPhone coming out. I can't have an AirDrop. That's ridiculous. Anytime a new iPhone comes out, then it's like your iPhone stops working. All right, so groupthink.com is that's the website. Go there and sign up, and then when the app is released, you'll get a notification. You can download the app right away, and then the moment that the app is available, we'll start the groups right away. Libby, what's up? I missed you. How are you doing? And let me click this real quick before I do have to dip out. As it's Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, I implore you all to check on the college students in your lives. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among college students. If you're a student, check in with yourself. All right, so let me go ahead and say this about suicide real quick. So I will be at the University of Alabama in October. I'm not sure the dates because I don't know what dates anything's happening at, but you know, my team knows. But I'll be at the University of Alabama in October talking about suicide prevention. And I can already tell y'all what the main theme of the talk is going to be about. The theme of the talk is going to be that suicide prevention is a job for all of us, right? You know, I don't think that you can leave it up to just the professionals or to, you know, somebody's parents. Like suicide prevention is, you know, going outside and, you know, you see somebody and you smile at them. Hey, how was your day? Okay. Hey, yeah, have a good day. Suicide prevention is, you know, asking the person at the drive-through, you know, hey, like, you know, are you doing good? You know, like just being kind to people and treating people the same way that you would want to be treated, in my opinion, is suicide prevention. And you know, with mental health, you know, things are the outcomes are not where we want them to be. I'll just say that. But collectively, I think that we can work through it and we can, you know, get closer towards. Hey, Roll Tide, we can get closer towards, you know, saving lives, right? Roll Tide. All right, y'all. So I'm finna head out. Let me see. I got we have a grilling night at my house. So all of us, you know, normally we'd be making videos, but we made a lot of videos that will be posted online shortly by my assistant. But it's grilling night, so we're gonna grill and then I don't know, watch something. So people are starting to come over, so I'm about to head out. But tomorrow is Friday, and there's no shows scheduled on tomorrow. But I actually have time tomorrow, and I plan on doing 3 shows tomorrow. Let me talk about it real quick. I want to do a morning show tomorrow. I want to do a Ask Dr. Kojo show, and I want to do a late night show. So I plan on doing 3 shows. The late night show won't be super late, but I want to get 3 shows in because I have a couple of different topics that I want to talk about, right? And the Q&A will be just a straight Q&A. So, you know, that will give people a chance to ask their questions. It'll also give me a chance to see what people really want to be answered. So as I prepare for next week's content, I know what to post. So, all right. I do have to head out, but take care. I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.